drop. And in so doing, you get a step drawdown test. A step drawdown test. So that one too has to be taken into notice. And these ones are the ones that hydrogeologists do, but you have to know this. So you can see from this picture, as I mentioned, that there's blowing, which we use to estimate our yield and all that. And then you can see that water is coming out into this thing. And the man is holding the black thing. The black thing here is water level indicator. We use it to measure the depth at which water is drawing. I mean, the depth of the water or the water column at a particular level. So, yes, this is the water coming out. We use the bucket to measure the discharge, the discharge rate, and then there's a control valve along the pipe, somewhere in between the pictures, where you use to control the rate at which the water is coming out. So that is also there. And yes, that is me doing a pumping test. I'm doing a pumping test. I'm working very hard, seriously. And this is what I was referring to as a chamber. You see that with this well, there's this material that is around the well. And then we have this black pipe here, is what we call the HDP pipe. HDP pipe. And then this is the water level indicator that we have here. And then this is a rope, just a rope holding the pump inside the well, So, and this is the bucket that we use to measure our to calculate for our discharge that we have. So this is a 300. This water level indicator is 300 meters. It's 300 meters, and this work is very, very, very interesting a lot. So when we use the well for about 15, 20, 25 years, the discharge may become poor at a point, and that is where you have to do redevelopment and rehabilitation. It is very, very important to do that. It's like when we are pumping over time, you see that there are some clogs. Finer particles will clog the part, or yes, the spaces in between the gravel park, and sometimes may block the transmissivity from the rocks or the soil. So the performance of the well becomes poor, and as a result of this, you have to work on it again. And that's 15, 20, 25 years. You have to work on it again. Not drilling a new borehole. No, you do redevelopment and rehabilitation. And when we talk about redevelopment, it's concerning a compressed air into the well, flushing out everything, which will wash. It's like washing the well again. Washing the well again. And this is very, very important. And then rehabilitation is when we do the pumping tests and all that to check the rate again and all that. So it consists of collecting of archives. So you have to get information on the well. Sometimes you send CCTV cameras into the well to check everything, And then when you send compressor, it breaks up the clog deposit and then incrustations, and then remove the silt and the debris by, everything. Airlifting does that. And sometimes you have to disinfect the borehole. You disinfect the borehole, and then you do your pumping test. Normally, because of the overtime usage and then the clogging, you may want to. Sometimes you may want to do step drawdown, because this is not a new well. You want to look at how improve this thing is after doing all the cleansing, and then they're using a CCTV camera to check everything and all that. So it is very, very important that we do it. But these things help to improve the well performance. And it is not as expensive as drilling a new well. It is not expensive at all. And it takes a very long time. As I mentioned, 15 to 25 years to do this one. Now, when we drill a well and it becomes difficult to get water. Sometimes we want to abandon the well because we've gotten a dry well, you know. But sometimes too, when you drill a well, let's say in a granitic material, and you see some brownish substance on the curtains, you'd realize I mentioned that brownish substance indicates that there is rusting of iron content in the rock. So it gives you an indication that, hey, look again, there could be water here. So what you do is that you send some balloon-like structure. It's like a giant balloon. Like you send this thing, the thing, that balloon into the well, inflate it with compressed air, and as it inflates, that this thing is very thick. The skin is very thick, so it breaks the rock. It breaks the rock. So what happens is that the water that is hidden, or that is available but not getting inside the well, will get loose and get inside the well. But this method, unless the hydrogeologist is fully is fully assured that there could be water before it, because it's relatively expensive. It's relatively, cost involving. It's an additional cost. So normally, if you are 100% sure that you use this method to get your groundwater, it's very, very important that we know this. Sometimes too, if people don't know about this, they just drill the well. They could be water, but because they have no idea about this, they don't do it. So these things too can be done to do what? To get water. And these things, you realize that either the yield is very low or there's a dry well, and you are sure that you get water. So this is it. So you get your packer. We call it the packer. You get your packer installed into the well, and then you send a com. So the packer is the black thing here, you know. So you call it hydrofracturing or hydrofracking. You inflate it and it breaks. You can see that there's water. There's water all over the blue colored thing. So if it breaks it from here, or sometimes you can break it so that there could be more water getting inside the well. So all these are there. Now, what are the advantages of boreholes? They are less vulnerable to drought. Boreholes are not, I mean, they don't easily, if it is well done, even in the dry season, you can get water. You can get water. So they are not vulnerable to drought and or drop in water level when drilled into a deep water-bearing formation. So if it is a water-bearing formation, no, it cannot go dry. And it can be designed to explore more water from so many aquifers, so many aquifers. And they are not vulnerable to collapse unless there's no, the casing is not done fully. Nowadays, some people, they use limited or small number of the blue pipes. That's the UPVC pipes, and then they make it sit on the bedrock. And I always say that where there is moisture and air, there can be weathering, and when there's weathering, there could be disintegration. And when there's disintegration, it may cave in, and then when it caves in, we'll see cash. But if it is well done, forget about all that. It will not happen. And then they are less vulnerable to contamination. When you compare surface water to groundwater, what happens is that surface water, air blows dust even into it, can blow any polythene bag, can blow anything into it. But groundwater, it is difficult. You may not get it easily like that. Even when there's a flow, it has to take some time, and sometimes too, these microbes will may die. Some may die before they get into the water. So when it comes to vulnerability to contamination, groundwater is far more ahead of surface water. So this one too is there. So yes, if the processing is done properly, the only thing you have to think about is your electricity bill, because you get lots of water. You get a lot of water. So it's very, very important that this is one of the important this thing, one of the advantages, and it's very, very important that you do proper siting. Proper siting is very, very needed when it comes to boreholes. So if it's properly sited, capable of producing large yield, So mechanically or electrically powered pumps can be used. So you can use pumps. But if the yield is not that high, you may use hand pumps and all that. So it has to be